The views and opinions expressed during this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other employees, advertisers, or sponsors.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Michelle Dials, and you're listening to Talk of the Town on 1230 WSAL. Joining me this morning from Logansport Memorial Hospital, Carmen Danhauser is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you get to be the rookie fill-in today.
the rookie villain is me, yes.
Well,
We're
welcome.
missing Vicky, but thank you. Thank you.
And you have a couple of guests here with you this morning as well.
I do, and I think they're going to be great guests for you. I have Kelly Howard with me. She is our new vein program coordinator. And then I have Dr. Todd Weinstein, who is one of our 3 surgeons in general surgery at the hospital, and he's going to be talking about our new vein surgery program.
All right. Well, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
And I know that I've gotten some press releases from Carmen about the vein program and some clinics that you've had, but it's really something that I don't know a whole lot about. So I'm glad to have you guys here to share some information with us this morning.
Well, it's great to be here, and we appreciate you having us. We started, probably a year ago, kind of looking at having a vein program. A lot of the patients that we talked to and then a lot of the primary care physicians that we talked to had talked to us about the need for this. It's a very common problem in the United States. If you look across the country, about 40 million people have some sort of problem with their veins. And because of the large size of that problem, we just felt like it was something we had to do something about.
When you talk about problems with their veins, what would that encompass?
There's a couple of different areas. There's the group of patients who have swollen veins on their legs, visible veins they just don't like the looks of, veins that bother them from that standpoint. And that is certainly an important issue, and it's an issue that needs taken care of. It's actually probably the smaller issue. The bigger issue is people whose veins are somehow causing damage to their legs. People can have pain in their legs, aching, throbbing, swelling, stabbing pain. Their legs can get very swollen. They can actually get ulcers on their legs from bad veins. They can get skin changes, kind of a brownish, purplish, it's called lipodermatosclerosis. We have big words for everything. And it can actually change the skin of their legs and make their legs very fragile. Sometimes numbness, itching. So a lot of problems can happen to the legs because of bad veins, more than just the visible veins.
So what is it that happens that causes the bad veins?
Great question. The underlying problem is that veins have valves in them. Veins have one-way valves in them. The way the blood flow in the body works and the blood flow in the legs in particular works, the heart pumps, the blood goes out through the arteries. It's that pumping motion of the heart that pushes the blood out through the arteries. It then gets out to the tissues and goes through the capillaries, the little teeny vessels inside the tissues, and that's how it nourishes the tissues. But then it comes back to the heart through the veins. Well, by now that head of steam it got from the heart pumping is pretty much gone. So the question becomes, how's it going to get back from the legs back up to the heart? Well, there's one-way valves inside the veins that get the blood to go the correct direction back up to the heart. Well, the underlying problem with vein disease is those valves break. Those valves stop working right. It's called venous valvular insufficiency. Again, big words for everything. But those valves aren't working right, and so now the blood doesn't go the right direction. And now, because of gravity, it starts pulling in the legs, and it just kind of sits there, causes swelling, causes high pressures, and starts leaking into the tissues.
Very interesting. Now, as far as what you can do to fix that solution.
Right. And it depends upon the first step. You've got to figure out exactly what the problem is and exactly where the valves are bad. Number one, are there really bad valves? Because there are some people who get the visible veins, usually the little teeny veins we call spider veins. Some people can get those and their valves are still okay. And so you've got to figure out what the underlying problem is. And the best way to do that really is an ultrasound. It used to be, back when I was in medical school a year or two ago, we would do x-rays to do that. But anymore, ultrasound is really the way to do it. And it's a very quick, efficient, pain-free, accurate way of determining exactly what the underlying problem is. Once you figure out what the underlying problem is, then you can figure out what the best way to fix it is. And there's probably 4 different procedures that we use to try to fix the veins. There's something called sclerotherapy, there's transdermal laser therapy, there's endovenous laser ablation, and there's stab phlebectomy. And you've got to...
Those all sound terrifying.
And none of them are. They're all very easy. They're all in and out procedures. They're all procedures. You walk into the hospital, we do it, and you walk out.
Wow.
It's very straightforward and simple. It's a lot better than it was 25 years ago.
Now, Kelly, you are the new vein program coordinator.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is your job?
I am putting together, we do monthly free vein screenings at the hospital. Right now they're the Tuesday. The next one coming up would be May the 27th from 4 to 7, which people can just call and sign up, get a spot in there. I kind of coordinate getting those meetings out. I do check on insurance benefits for everybody because it is hard to get these types of procedures covered if you don't use the right wording and if you have the right diagnosis and that type of thing. So that's what I spend a lot of time doing.
So when somebody attends one of the vein screenings, what can they expect?
They will get a short video and presentation by one of the surgeons explaining kind of what venous reflux is, the different ways that you can treat it, what Dr. Weinstein kind of touched on. They'll get a very brief ultrasound that will show if we can find any evidence of anything going wrong. Then they have the option to where they can set up an appointment to see one of the surgeons and evaluate any type of further treatment options, or if we see enough evidence, we could go ahead and order an ultrasound, based on if they're patients of certain doctors at the hospital that, I've already met with, and I can go ahead and order an ultrasound and then do a follow-up with the surgeon so that we can discuss the next step.
Okay. Now, I know that you guys have had a couple in the past. How has turnout for those been?
Wonderful. I think we've had great outcome, anywhere from 15 to 30 people at each screening, I believe.
So this is a pretty common problem.
This is a very common problem. If you look at it, the statistics would say about a quarter of the adult women in the country have some vein problems. It's probably more like 10 or 15% on men, but it's a very common problem. 40 million Americans.
Is there a reason that it's more common in women than men?
Well, pregnancy will tend to aggravate your veins, and mostly that's a problem with women.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like hereditary and family history and that sort of thing,
absolutely hereditary. Actually, the biggest risk factor is your heredity. If you have one parent with venous disease, your odds of having venous disease are probably 50 or 60%. If both your parents have had venous disease, your odds of getting venous disease are probably 90%.
Wow.
So really the best thing you can do to avoid venous disease is pick your parents wisely.
So we're all...
Yeah.
We're all potential candidates for this to happen.
They're all potential candidates.
As far as... When do people really notice this being a problem and think, okay, I've got to do something about it?
It can vary. People can get venous disease, become apparent anywhere between their teenage years and their 80s or 90s. But it mostly happens in people maybe in their 40s and 50s. So there's a wide age range that's involved. But it is somewhat more predominantly a disease of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. So
you talked about the 4 procedures. You said they're not terrifying. Can
True.
you kind of talk a little bit about what they entail?
Absolutely. Probably the most commonly done procedures is the one with the fanciest name, the endovenous laser ablation. And the idea there is frequently it's one of the 3 main superficial veins in the leg that are causing the problem, either the great saphenous vein, the small saphenous vein, or the accessory saphenous, the anterior accessory saphenous vein. And so if you can determine from your ultrasound that it's one of those veins that's the issue, what we then do is using the ultrasound as a guide, we'll kind of get in the bottom of that vein just using an IV catheter. So it's just like getting an IV started. We'll then thread a laser fiber through that IV up into the vein, and then after numbing up the entire area, so it's just under the local anesthetic, not a general anesthetic or anything. After numbing it up, we'll kind of slowly pull that laser fiber back as we fire the laser. That'll ablate, get rid of the vein, and the vein will just kind of shrink away and it'll scar up, and that will then reroute the blood through the other veins in the leg, through the veins that are still working properly. So that's probably the most commonly done procedure and probably the major procedure. Sclerotherapy is used for smaller veins up to maybe 5 millimeters in size. That just means take a teeny little needle, and I do mean a teeny little needle, put it into the vein and inject a chemical solution into the vein to get the vein to scar up and go away. The transdermal lasers, just frying the vein through the skin.
You're not convincing me. This is terrifying.
It stings a little bit. I mean, that one stings a little bit, but it's not bad. I've had the laser, and that's not a bad thing. And then the last one is stab phlebectomy, and that's
the scary sounding one.
Well, and what you do is you numb it up. You make about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch size incision, and you just reach in there with a very small instrument and just physically remove the vein. But again, we're talking about very small incisions, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in size.
Now, Kelly, you mentioned that sometimes there are difficulties with getting insurance to cover it. And is there a reason for that?
For a long time, it was looked at to be cosmetic. There wasn't enough information out there, weren't enough studies, I don't think, that, were being done. So basically, it's just, there's certain things that you have to do as far as requirements for the insurance before they want to pay for each procedure.
Okay. That was what I was wondering, because I know you see like a lot of ads from different plastic surgeons and that sort of thing, that they can fix spider veins and that kind of stuff. So there is more to it, though, than just being cosmetic.
Right, and like I said right at the beginning, a lot of people from their vein problems have this entire spectrum of disease: the swelling, the ulcers, the skin changes, the pain, the throbbing, the stabbing. And because of the fact that insurance companies have come to understand that vein problems cause more than just a cosmetic issue, they've started to pay for that. Now, it is true that if somebody has purely a cosmetic issue, the insurance companies will still balk at paying for it.
Okay. As far as getting the program set up at Logansport Memorial Hospital, I mean, is it kind of unique for a hospital our size?
I don't know if it's completely unique. There are certainly a number of vein programs around. Most of them are in larger places: Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Lafayette. I know they do have one in Seymour. Seymour's probably about our size. So it's a little unique, but it's certainly not completely unheard of.
Okay. As far as our area, are we pulling in people from other communities? I mean, to take advantage of this?
We have, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think there are people coming from all the surrounding counties. And again, it's as I just said, it's a choice between coming here or going to one of those large, Lafayette, Indianapolis. And so I think a lot of people do find it a lot more convenient to come here, especially given the fact that it's an outpatient procedure.
Okay. And you have yourself plus a couple of other surgeons that are involved?
My two partners, Mike Lalla and Gerhard Winkel, are both also doing the procedures. And so all three of us are available, and all three of us are trained to do this.
Okay. And I know you've been here for a while, but give everybody just kind of a refresher on your background.
My background, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I went to college and medical school in Florida, college at Florida State Medical School at the University of Florida. Came up to Indiana for my surgery residency training in Indianapolis. That would have been from 86 to 91. Married me a Hoosier. And here I am, 23 years later. I'm 2 months short of 23 years in Logansport.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Now, Kelly, what's your background?
I came from Nashville, Tennessee. I've been here 8 years, and I've done a little bit of everything. I did dermatology for several years, which has helped me a little bit with the vein stuff. I'm an LPN, and I just, love to learn new things. So when this opportunity came up, it was just a great fit for me.
Now, as far as the upcoming screening, let's talk a little bit about that again, the date, time, how people do they need to make an appointment, that sort of thing?
It is May the 27th from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We try to break it up into a couple different times so people don't have to wait as long. We do a presentation on the hour, And it is best if you could call over to the surgeon's office, which the number is 574-722-3636 to make an appointment. And I can give some more specifics. It's held in conference room D and E, which is in the basement at the hospital.
Okay. And when you say on the hour, so there will be 3 presentations?
Yes, ma'am. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock.
Okay. And do you guys kind of like alternate through who does the presentation?
We do. We take turns.
So is it like one night it's going to be this surgeon, or do you do 3 different?
Not necessarily. I think the last one, the one in April, Dr. Winkle did the first one. I did the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you're not really committing to anything by coming. It's just an opportunity to learn more and find out if it's something you're a candidate for.
They're given an opportunity to ask questions to whichever surgeon is available. Also can talk to me about insurance. It's, just more of an open time that you can learn a little more.
Fantastic. Anything that we haven't talked about that you guys want to make sure that people are aware of with regards to the vein program at Memorial Hospital?
Well, again, I think the thing is that I think a lot of people over the years have not really understood how important the veins are in the legs. There's a number of things that can cause problems in the legs. The bones in the joints, arthritis can cause pain. Arterial disease can cause trouble. The nerves can cause trouble. And I think for years, the medical profession and people in general have sort of focused on those issues. But over the last couple of decades, we've really come to understand how important the veins are. And so I would encourage people, if they are having problems with their legs, just get it checked out. It may not be the veins, but if we check it out, if we do the right test, we can find out what the issue is, and we can help people.
And one more time, the number that they would need to call for information?
574-722-3636.
All right. Thank you, guys. Carmen, I want to switch to you for a minute. Now, have you done Talk of the Town since you've been here? Since you started?
I have been in the background of Talk of the Town, but you have never heard my Minnie Mouse voice on the air. No, not yet, Michelle. So today's a real treat for everyone.
Let's go ahead and give everybody just a little bit of background on your story and how you ended up at Memorial Hospital.
Sure. I was born and raised in Cass County. Born at Logansport Memorial Hospital. Won't say how long ago, but that time ago. And then grew up, graduated from Logansport High School in 2007. Became a proud IU Hoosier. After that, graduated from Bloomington in 2011. Looking for a job. This happened to be right timing, right fit, exactly what I wanted with my, skills and things that I'd gotten from my degree there. And so it's been great coming home and coming back to the community and just getting to work here where I was born.
And your official position is?
I'm the marketing coordinator, so anything and everything.
Right.
That's pretty much what that means.
And since you've been there, you've made a few changes as far as the new vital signs that people see?
Yes.
Is it still new at this point?
It's still new to me, I guess. I mean, I hope people kind of think it's new. It's got a different look to it, but we try to get different articles in there and different, just to keep people informed of what's happening at the hospital. I'm using lots of different techniques to do that now with the website and Facebook. We're on Facebook and Twitter and all that fun stuff. So it's been good, a learning opportunity for everyone, including me. But yeah.
All right. And I know you have several events coming up this month, including one tomorrow.
We do. I think May is a busy month for Indiana in general, just because of the Indy 500 and everything that's happening. But I will tell you what, it is a busy month for Logansport Memorial Hospital too, and that's not a bad thing. I think that's good. We like to be busy. So yes, tomorrow, big event. It's our annual garden party that's put on by the Mary Dykeman Guild and the hospital gift shop. We've got a lot of spring and garden decor that's new and unique and a little bit different from some of the other stuff you might see around. And also we'll have plants and flowers available from Chuck's Towers and Flowers. So that's fun. We have a lot of people who like to come out for that. That's Thursday the 8th, tomorrow, from 10 to 2, and that's at MOB East, which is kind of the brick building that's off of Michigan Avenue. And then if you go in that way, it'll be outside in the lawn area, weather permitting.
I think it's supposed to be warm tomorrow, though. So
we're hoping. We had really nice weather last year, too. And that always makes it. So it'll be kind of in that lawn area by MLB East and Cafe Express. So you just come right in through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then golf tournament time is coming up.
Oh, man, can you believe it? It is. And golf tournament is coming up June 18th. We're excited for that, already prepping. It's an all-day event, but we have a lot of fun. It's a good time. And we're still taking reservations for teams, sponsorships. We have lots of opportunities available. 2 flights, morning and afternoon, typical, like we've done for a long time now. And so, yeah, they can just call the Hospital Foundation, call us. It's 753-1595. We've got plenty of reservation spots and donation forms or team forms, anything that you need, so we can get you hooked up.
Now, you guys just wrapped up Oh Baby Run, right?
We did, and that was perfect day too. So we are fingers crossed for what it's all about the weather here, and that's the one thing we can't control. But
Absolutely.
hoping for good weather.
Now, you mentioned before we were on the air a surgery seminar. Is that different than the one that Kelly talked about?
Yes, this is new for me, Michelle. We like to do new things. So this is new this year. We've never done these before, but this is my first of 3, and it's going to be a free seminar, totally free, no obligation. Patients can just come in and sit down, and I'll have some snacks and drinks and just get to hear. It's actually going to be Dr. Winkle, who is another one of our surgeons, presenting just about general surgery options that we have. We're really fortunate to have 3 very qualified with extensive experience, all of our surgeons here, and so we just want to get out to the community a little bit more about what they can do and what options they have available to them locally. So that's kind of what this seminar is going to be about, talking about the vein program, obviously, because we're still trying to get awareness about that and make sure people understand that that's new for us, but also some of the things that we have been doing, we're continuing to do, and just some of the options, minimally invasive options. It's huge. Dr. Weinstein touched on the technology with the vein program. That technology applies all across the spectrum. So it's just information that we can get out to the public. So yeah. And I told you all about it, but I didn't tell you the date. So let me tell you the date. It is May 22nd. That's a Thursday. And it's actually going to be over the lunch hour from 12 to 1. And that's also in conference room D&E in the hospital. It's one big room in the basement. So we'll have signs, hopefully, directing people to get there. But yeah, it should be fun.
And having attended the State of the Hospital event, is the goal of this kind of to get people to realize that if they need to have a procedure done, there are great opportunities available locally?
I'd like to think so, yes. It's hard because, Dr. Weinstein also, he used a lot of big words. Not everyone knows what those words are, what they mean.
But you did a great job explaining it.
He does. He's always so good about that. But that's the thing, is to get that one-on-one interaction and the time spent with patients to kind of help them understand what those big words mean. They're not intimidating when you've got credible physicians and surgeons who know exactly what they are and what they mean and how to talk about them. So we just want to give that opportunity to our physicians and to our patients to kind of come together and have that information.
So again, date and time for that seminar?
Date and time, Thursday, May 22nd from 12 to 1 at the hospital in conference room D&E. And we hope that lots of people will come.
All right. Dr. Todd Weinstein, Kelly Howard, and Carmen Danhauser with Logansport Memorial Hospital. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this half of Talk of the Town. We'll be back with more.